Wow, a beloved classic getting a remake nobody asked for and it flops at the box office? Couldn't have seen that one coming. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. As of the time of this video's recording, it's been about a week since The Crow 2024 hit theaters, and it had an incredibly middling, if you want to be nice to it, opening weekend. At the box office, The Crow in its opening weekend made $4.6 million, going against a budget of $50 million. That's unheard of, that a comic book action movie that is also taking the name of a beloved vintage cult classic IP from 1994, and it only makes $4.6 million. I put out my review for this movie basically as soon as I could. My love for the original and my thoughts on the remake, reboot, reimagining, whatever you want to call this 2024 disaster aside, it's not really doing too hot, and things aren't looking good for Lionsgate because being that they literally put out Borderlands like the week before and that's also flopping, boy, some heads are gonna roll over at that studio. I'd hate to be working there. Interestingly enough, the tomato meter has been having quite a hard time with this one. Currently, the critics' tomato meter stands at about 19%, but the fan tomato meter stands at about 64%. And I think this is probably due to new fans that are being exposed to it. Either way though, this movie is kind of up creek without a paddle. Director Rupert Sanders seems to know this and is quite upset. If we look at this article here, he apparently has actually come out and said he didn't record over anyone's VHS because of course a lot of talk about The Crow being a reboot and rehashing of the original. Well, a lot of people think it's disrespectful and are pissed off about what it does to the legacy of the original, and I'm not even gonna get into that. I've made so many videos about that. I just want to talk about this quote though. I think a lot of people are very active online and not so active in life. Get out and do something and have less time throwing stones. I think that that's such an interesting response from somebody who is in Hollywood, puts out content for the purpose of having it be reviewed, and then is mad that people review it. I mean, you have to know that when you redo The Crow from 1994, during which Brandon Lee was tragically killed on set, you have to know that people are going to have some very staunch opinions about this, and people are going to be very vocal about it. And again, that's literally how movie-going works. That's why Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd and all these other movie reviewing websites work. You put out a movie and people get to say their opinions about said movie. You're literally gonna tell people they're too active online, stop throwing stones? Don't make movies then, homeboy. Just stay the home and leave The Crow alone. You remade a classic that a lot of people still have a dedicated attachment to. Of course, people are gonna have opinions. So let's recount this. We had Bill Skarsgård saying he wasn't happy with the ending at all, and now we have Rupert Sanders saying that people complaining about the film should get a life. And I think my favorite statement, though, about this movie is from Alex Proyas. Now, if that name isn't familiar to you, Alex Proyas actually directed the original The Crow, and he pretty much is the reason for all the cool stylistic choices made in that movie. And even though it seemed like he'd been pretty quiet, if you go to his Facebook, there's gems like, "I thought the remake was a cynical cash grab. Not much cash to grab, it seems." And he posted that 2 days after the release of this reboot. Now, I have a lot of feelings on this remake, reboot, reimagining, whatever. I have a lot of feelings on this film in general because of my deep love and connection to the original. I can't say that I'm thrilled that it's failing so hard purely because I know that Bill Skarsgård is a tremendous actor, but The Crow 2024 by any other name would still not be a good movie. You don't need to love the original or love Brandon Lee or even respect the story or the source material. You could just sit down and watch it as an action movie, and it's still not a good action movie. It's not a good romance story. It's not a good comic book movie. It's not a good movie in general. Am I surprised it's flopping at the box office? No, it was banking off an IP where the fans are super dedicated to it and very much love it and respect Brandon Lee, so I didn't think really dedicated Crow fans were gonna want to watch this one. It doesn't have enough similarity to the comic book to be a true reimagining of the comic book either, and The Crow really didn't stay all that relevant with people of my generation. My mom just happened to show it to me when I was a kid, so based on the trailers and stuff, I didn't think that that movie was gonna get a lot of asses in seats. I'm not surprised it's failing. I think it's a good sign for Hollywood to see that some things should just be left alone. But yeah, I think it's time we change the name of this The Crow to The Pigeon flying against a window and falling dead on the sidewalk. That's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I will add links to all of those in the description below, and let me know your thoughts about The Crow's catastrophic box office failure in the comments below.